Okay, I'm going to carry on with the um, code that I did in the last video and show you different modes. So this is opens a file in read mode. Now we're going to do with open, let's go ahead and do words.txt, and I'm going to do in append mode. And again, I put that plus there just to give me a couple more options. It's fine if you would just put a there for the most part. Let's say now we want to add a word to the dictionary. We're going to be in a Scrabble battle later, or maybe we're secretly doing this on our phone as we're playing Scrabble with someone, and we have the letters Z, Q, X. Let's make it a little more believable. Z, Quux, Tall, and we're just gonna try to win the whole thing. So I think in Scrabble those would be worth quite a few points there, and it's 7 letters. So we'd get it's been a long time since I played Scrabble, but I think that would give us like a big bonus for using all our letters or something too, if we could put that in the dictionary. So I'm teaching you how to cheat, basically. Okay, so let me go ahead and write. I'm doing F5. Okay, and it looks like nothing has happened. Well, actually, we do see some stuff happening, but this was from our code previous, which if I go back, probably be a good idea to, um, actually, we could just take this entire section of the code, and I'm going to put triple quotation marks before, triple quotation marks after. Let me run this again. Okay, so you can see that nothing happens here. That's because we didn't do anything. We didn't interact with the shell at all. All we did was interacted with that text file. Now, if I go into my, let's see, I'm going to go into File Explorer. I'm going to go to P. I'm going to actually search for that text file. There it is, words. And if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, okay, so here, what happened was I added that word, zkduksqual, when the first time I ran the code, and then now that the new modified file had zkuxtal in it, then I ran the code again, and it added zkuxtal again. Notice that it didn't put it on a new line. That's because what I added to the text file was only zkuxtal. I didn't put in a new line. So if I go back to my code, um, I could put something like this, put a new line character in, and then let's say I write another word. Yeah, yay, yay, yay. Yay, yay is our new word. So notice that this one doesn't have a new line character before it, so it's going to get attached to the other zkuxtals, and there should be 3 of them, I believe. But then because of this new line character, the yay, yay should be on a new line. Let's try that out and see if it works. And if we open the file, notice we don't see that anything changed. So what's happening here is because we had the text file open, it's not going to edit the open file. But if we close it and then go back in here and open words, and then we scroll to the very bottom, oops, scroll to the very bottom, we have the 3 zkuxtals, and then we have the yay yay on a new line there. So that's appending. With append, you can still go earlier in the file and then actually change or write into the file. But if you're going to be writing in the file, probably what you would want to do. So this is, sorry, my English isn't real good. I'm not sure if it's appends to a file or appends a file. Anyway, then the final thing we could do here is with open. And again, notice that once I've gone back to the left margin, I've closed that file. So this file, it's now closed in terms of Python. It's still open in terms of my desktop. I would have to close it here. But for all practical purposes, from Python's perspective, As soon as I jump back out to the left margin, it's closed. So here I'm going to do something different. Let's call this words2.txt. Now, as far as I know, I don't have a file called words2.txt. This is a little dangerous because if I do have a file called words2.txt and it's saved in this location in my P drive, as soon as I run this code, it's gone. I'm going to wipe it clean just by calling the write command, W-R-I-T. It's not always the R-I-G-H-T command. Just by calling this, it's going to wipe whatever is here. It's going to completely erase it and replace with whatever I put next. So maybe I put f.write hello. So the danger here is that if it exists, I'm completely erasing it. We want to make sure, sometimes we do want to completely erase and replace it, but make sure that that's what you want to do before you use the write command. The advantage is, it's kind of cool. You're creating a new file that didn't exist before. So if well, let's take a peek just to make sure. Let's put this in terms of, I sorted by type. So notice these are alphabetical. All my different text files in the P drive are here, and words is here, but words2 is not. Words2 does not exist. But let me go ahead and run this file. And again, nothing happens here. I didn't do anything with the shell. But if I open up my File Explorer, my P drive, notice that I now have a file called words2, and I can open it, and it says hello. So I've created a file from scratch. Now something you can do, so I could have several f.write here. Let me uncomment this part. So now notice I have a string and two lists. So maybe after I write hello to this file, I want to show you that I don't have to type in just a string. I could type in something like contents3, right? And I could put in a variable in the write command here. I can only put one argument in here, so I couldn't put a lot of stuff in there, but I could put a variable in there. So if I run that, okay, yeah, sorry. So look at my error here. Write argument must be a string, not a list. My bad on that. So I have a couple options here. So this would work. I could put in the contents for string, or if I really wanted to, I could take that contents3 and convert it to a string, and then I should be able to write. Let's give this a try. So that worked. This all came from the part of code at the top. This was nothing to do with the new parts of the code I just added. Here's the file. It still says hello. I'm pulling this up because you will make this mistake. Remember, we haven't closed this file yet. So in order to see what words2 looks like now, we have to exit out of it and then take a peek at it. Now this is a pretty massive file. That's why it took a little while. Notice there we have hello. That's because it was in the code. Why don't we have two hellos? Why don't we have the original hello and then the new hello that I just put in again? Well, the reason is because we opened it in write mode, which meant that it totally erased everything that was there and then replaced it with this hello here. And then you see this string version of that massive list that we had there, the vocabulary list. Okay, so let me finish here by just talking some big ideas, things that you often do. So you'll often read in a text file, you'll read it in and save it as a string or a list, and then you'll work and modify with that string or that list, and then you'll write it to a file. So you'll actually be opening it two separate times, one in read mode, one in write mode. Now the question is, when you open it in write mode, do you do the same file as before, or do you do a new file? That depends. If you're just going to keep doing like a high scores file, like maybe for project 1, it makes sense that you just replace the existing one. Don't worry, because when you were reading it, you captured all the contents with one of these codes here. And so when you do change those contents and then you write it back to that same file, um, then it's fine because you had all those contents saved. Even though the file itself gets overwritten, you have all those contents saved in a variable, which now you then put back into that same file. So I might read in the high scores file, I might add the person's name who just got a high score, um, and then I use write mode, so I'm erasing the file that existed, but I'm replacing it with the edited contents. So now the file has all that it had in before, but it's also got the edited contents there. Okay, yeah, those are the main three commands. And again, even though you'll see other things online, the with open is the way to go because it automatically closes as soon as you get back out to the left margin.